everyone. Good evening and welcome to the big debate. Today, we'll continue our continuous coverage on the ongoing African Cup of Nations taking place in Cameroon. As from tomorrow, the round of eight, so the quarterfinals will resume, and Cameroon, the host nation, will be playing against little known, or of course the first timers, the Gambia. It's highly anticipated, and also on the sidelines there have been a lot of drama. Today with me in the studios is our legendary True Lion, who has always been here with me from day one, and today we have a new guest for you, someone who has paid close attention to the big debate and the ongoing African Nations Cup, and it's Maitre Ebini. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome once more to the big debate. And good evening, True Lion and Maitre Bechem.
Good evening, Dr. T. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having you once more. And it's always a privilege to have you here to discuss football and your insights. And Maitre Bechem, we are pleased to have you here for the first time. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, Dr. T, good evening. It's my pleasure to be part of this team today. Like you said earlier, I'm a big fan of the show, so I'm really delighted to be here. And to a True Lion, it's an honor to be on the same panel with you, considering the fact that you've been in and around the game for quite some time now. And as a result, you've actually gained some experience in both the analytical and tactical aspects of the game. So I hope to learn more from you. Thank you.
Both. Always a pleasure having you here and talking football with you. Always a pleasure, bro.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you for joining the big debate. We'll delve straight on and head on into football matters. So before we start talking about the round of eight, I have one quick question to ask you, and you guys can just run through it quickly. So far, we know that we've played around 42 games so far. So what is your overall overview of the competition? So True Lion, you've been here before, so I would give Maitre Bechem the privileges because he's coming for the first time. Let's be nice to him.
Okay, let's go.
All right, Dr. T, thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I think it's been a very fascinating and interesting tournament thus far. We all have seen that the level of African football has actually improved. There's been tremendous improvement in every regard, be it in the tactical or the way the teams kind of approach the game. It's no secret that we no longer have small African teams. In the past, we know that you have small teams and big teams, but what we've seen in this tournament is there's no small team. And I think from infrastructure standpoint, the infrastructure is awesome. There's no doubt that the pitches are great. I was talking to my brother last week, and he said for the first time, they're playing this tournament in 5 different cities, 5 or 6 cities. It's unprecedented. We have 32 teams. And so that in itself is another level in which the tournament or this edition has actually shown. And finally, I think it's a moment for Africans as in general to be very proud, because as you know, the negative connotation that was associated to the tournament from Europe in particular, regarding COVID, some teams refusing to release players,
the timing of the competition.
Exactly. We've come to realize that football has not just improved in Africa, the infrastructure has also improved. But what is really, I think, as Africans, we really have to be proud of is the fact that we have been able to pull this despite the fact that Omicron is spreading in and around the world like wildfire. So it's a moment for Africans to be proud in general, and I'm very proud of the tournament.
Yeah, so thank you for that insight. I think every African out there is very proud. There is a point I will probably want True Lion to discuss a little bit more. Is about the idea that, or what we have all witnessed, that there has been no small team in the competition. In the past, in the African Nations Cup, you know that you have teams who are participants just coming to fill in the number, and teams that you always expect them to be favorable. But for this competition, and interestingly, for the teams that qualified for the first time, one of them is in the round of 8, and one of them was knocked out in the round of 16. I'm talking about Comoros, which gave Cameroon a very difficult run in their last game in the round of 16 game. And again, the Cameroon's next opponent again is a first timer, so that's the Gambia.
Yeah, actually, there has been no small team as Metro Bechem actually mentioned. However, I have been disappointed with the amount of the lack of scoring in the attack. Most teams can defend, but they cannot score. The only few teams that have actually come from behind, from down, is Morocco and Cameroon. So, although we have seen an improvement, like from the small team, I have that feeling that the bigger teams have actually stalled.
Yeah, but okay, you mentioned something here that's interesting. I want you to answer this question, and you are a big fan of that. You've told me several times when we discussed football in the past that defense wins you competitions.
Yes, of course, defense wins competitions, but you also have to score. In a game where two teams come to defend, the neutrals or the fans like us will always suffer. So although I'd say defense wins, what I mean actually is that you have to be able to defend, you have to be able to play, coordinate defense to midfield and coordinate your midfield to the attack. You have to fit the beast, as I normally say. So
yes,
all that confidence have to work perfectly.
So sometimes I have to ask you this question so that you speak to the audience. We've seen so many games, especially in the last round of matches, which ended in 0-0 draw. So that's what True Lion is talking about. So if you want to win as much as if you defend well, you win a competition or a game, you also have to score to win games. So Metro Bechem, do you have anything to add there before we go to talk about the upcoming games?
I disagree in part with True Lion, because if you look at the tactical aspect of a game, I know he's big on tactics. I can't match his knowledge and ability in tactics. But if you look at the tactics aspect, the teams are set up in such a way that they can easily dictate the games in the midfield. It's unfortunate that, true, like he said, goals have not been coming. But if you look at the technical aspect, you see that there's a possibility, there's a potential this team to score. It's just unfortunate. You can say maybe the goalkeeper have been great and all the defense have been great. So bad for Cameroon defense though. But overall, I think I can say that there've been significant improvement.
Oh yeah.
Okay, great. So
you
go ahead. Yeah.
Let me just say something. He's spoken about the midfielders have been great, which is actually true. So opportunities for some teams have been created, but the finishing is not there. So I think that that traditional center forward position is officially dead in Africa.
Okay. Except for one team where the center forward is actually scoring.
Cameroon,
so we'll talk about him later. Let's go. So now I'm going to show you guys something, and then we'll discuss a little bit to talk. I will show you guys as well as our audience out there. So these are on the screen you can see the teams which have qualified for the round of 8. So you have 8 teams there. This competition started with 24 teams. It has gone down to 8 teams, so 16 teams or 16 countries have gone home. So from tomorrow, we'll start with a round of 8, or commonly called the quarterfinals. So these are the fixtures of the quarterfinals. So tomorrow, Saturday the 29th, Cameroon will play the Gambia and Burkina Faso will play Tunisia. We'll be here tomorrow to do post-match analysis and to talk about the games coming on Sunday. So, gentlemen, I'll take this out of the screen and ask you guys to discuss the preview of the Cameroon versus Gambia game. So maybe I start with True Lion. True Lion, what do you think Cameroon should do, or how do you anticipate Cameroon playing to win this game? Because everything is going to win, is coming to play to win, or at least not to lose.
At least for the previous knockout stage, the teams that have come out with more aggression, for the most part, are the teams that have actually qualified. So I expect Cameroon to come. Yes, there's no small team, but if you respect your opponent, you can actually knock Gambia out. And this is how I feel Cameroon should do it. I know that Zambo Igisa is not playing at his best. He's not playing at a very good level. It's a player he likes to play, operate like a box to box, and he is very dangerous when he plays up high because he can connect the midfield and the attack. So I prefer, or I would say Cameroon coach should come out with a tactical formation where he will either have Hongla or Izado Nana play some holding midfield responsibilities. Let Zambo Anguissa have a free role where he can actually help in offense. That will actually help Cameroon, and that central defense should actually do better communication. The way they actually line up tactically at the back when they don't have the ball, they should communicate better. Because if they do that and they are able to feed Abubakar and Toko up front, I bet you Cameroon will win. Then also another player that needs to play good is also their playmaker. I'm talking about the Bayern, Choupo-Moting, the Bayern Munich player, Choupo-Moting. If Choupo-Moting can connect, can ease the game, because he's the one that has that tactical, that technical ability, to give the right passes and feed the striker. So if Cameroon plays that way, I think they will be able to give Gambia some problems.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you guys, both of you, the same question, but I'll start with Maitre Bechem now. So we've watched Cameroon play. Cameroon have played 4 games, and in all 4 games, they've played with different teams. So what team do you think will play tomorrow, and why, if you anticipate some changes or any, what do you think will play? Because the first game, from what I think they played with 3 central midfielders, 2 which are a bit more defensive. And then the next game, they played with just 2, Anguissa and Hongla. And then the following game, they played with 3 again. And they've been playing like that. So what do you think, which team do you think will play tomorrow? And why do you think, what do you expect from that team? So, Maitre Bechem.
Well, I think it's going to be very difficult to actually predict the team that is going to come up tomorrow, because, like you said earlier, the coach has not been consistent. But I think he's probably going to go with 3 at the back. The reason I say so is because our defense has been very sloppy. There's no secret about that. For the most part, they've been bailed out by Onana, whom I think has been phenomenal, considering the fact that he just came back from
1 year suspension,
doping requirements. Sometime. So, and he's out there to prove the world that he's such a world-class talent, and also to his new employer, Inter Milan, that it wasn't a mistake. So I think he's going to go with 3 at the back. We have a midfield, it's no secret, we have a midfield that lacks creativity. However, and they too have been bailed out by the beast. We want Abubakar and Toko Ekambi. Both of them, they have been Abubakar, have been prolific in front of goal. So it kind of like overshadow the mishaps of the midfield. But overall, I think it's going to be a very tricky game for Cameroon. The reason I say it's going to be tricky is because there's no small team. And Gambia, a team that is they internally have overperformed, and they're coming out there to enjoy themselves and play free attacking football. They are a very energetic side, so we have to be very tricky. If we play with so much pressure, which I believe we have now, considering the fact that it's our tournament to lose at this point, and the Gambia is playing without any pressure. They overachieve. It becomes the pressure. It put us in a position where we probably want to overdo it, and in the process of overdoing it, we're gonna make mistakes at the back, and that's where they're gonna kill us.
Yeah, it's very important for people to know that Gambia. Okay, Gambia has played this competition. Sorry there for the interruption. Gambia has played this competition. They have not lost any game so far. They won 2 games, drew 1, and then in the group stages, and then won again in 90 minutes in the first knockout game. So they are a solid team. They don't concede many goals. So, True Lion, what do you think the Lions should do to prevent them conceding, but also scoring goals? We have seen that most of Cameroon goals in the first game, they came from the wings.
Yeah, and then, I can tell you that the danger man for Gambia is Musa Barrow. Okay.
Barrow, yeah.
Musa Barrow is the danger man for Musa Barrow is actually the danger man for Gambia, And it's not as if Gambia, I know Gambia has the best, I would say the best defense, because they have considered just 1 goal throughout the tournament.
Yes.
However, if you look at the games, if you look at the teams that played Gambia, as I said, the finishing was poor. That's why I'm drawing emphasis on the finishing. The finishing was poor. Even Tunisia, that played a great game against Nigeria, doesn't finish as good as Cameroon.
So, and they lost against Gambia.
Yeah. So Gambia, has not actually played a team like Cameroon that has people that can finish. So how do you beat Gambia? Take out Musa Barrow from the game. If you can take out Musa Barrow from the game, you feed Abubakar and Toko. I don't want to say it's gonna be easy game, but that's how you beat Gambia.
Okay. So how do you take out Barrow from the game? Metro Bechem and then True Lion.
I think, how do you take out True Lion is making a very good point. However, it's going to be very technical, because if you have to take him from the game, we'll probably have to put a holding midfielder to track him, to mark him all the time. And when you do that, you already create a space for other and also affect one of our attacking midfielder will have to drop. And when you drop, how are you going to feed the beast? Abubakar is not the kind of striker to drop, take the ball, two players. He doesn't have the pace to move the ball around like other attackers that we've seen in this tournament. He is a great finisher, so he needs people to feed him. I think the secret in this game is for us to go and play our game, enjoy ourselves, and just to take away that pressure.
No, but when I say take Musa Barrow out, I'm not assigning one defender on him. It can be a zonal defense. As soon as he gets into your zone, then you take charge of him. But the way to beat this team, as I said, they're not a lot of. They cannot. I don't see them scoring 2 goals. I don't see them. I mean, when I look at the finishes, I look at the strikers or center forwards in this competition, they are lacking. They are lacking. The teams, what they do is that they defend very, very well and frustrate people. But if Cameroon comes and can feed Abubakar and Toko, I believe scoring a lot of goals would actually put this Gambia team, in disarray.
And talking about feeding Abubakar and Toko, let's talk about.
I just want to.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to comment on something. True Lion, overall, yeah, but I know for some time now you've been talking about the lack of finishers and all of that. If we look at modern day football, the finishers like the Mario Jardels, the Jean-Pierre Papins, the Inzaghi, they don't really have a place anymore in this game. We need finishers who, like Abubakar, who have the ability, who have this and that ability to finish. Those finishers, and I mean, they don't really have a place anymore in the game. That's why we see some yes, True Lion.
No, but when you're talking about, because I'm talking about specifically, I've been watching the African Nations Cup, right? Even guys like Mane, they have not been clinical. Even Mo Salah, he has not been clinical. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not taking a past history. I'm talking about this specific tournament. Abubakar is a guy that you see him, he can shoot from afar, he can shoot from anywhere, and he's been in the right position to score the right goals. If you look at Tunisia, you saw the way Tunisia beat Nigeria, although they played a good game. It was just, I don't know. And then we've had about three matches go to extra time and won by penalty. So what does it mean? It means a lot of teams are defending well. Also, it also means that there are not a lot of good finishes in the tournament.
Okay, let's talk about something in the Cameroon team. We've seen most of the goals, the goals that Cameroon have scored have come from the right wing. A few have come from the left wing. So the right wing, mainly the right back. So if Cameroon wants to win tomorrow and score goal, that supply has to be optimal. And I'm talking about the Cameroon right back.
Fai in Gamale, right wing, yes. Fai with Gamale, they have been very, very active. And it's just about the supply chain. Look at the second game. Look at the second game where we played. Ethiopia. Ethiopia was really weak. But when you look at the transition, yes, go ahead. I thought Metro Bechem was about to say something. But when you look at the transition, especially
sorry, I wanted you to finish.
Yeah, he wanted you to finish, True Lion. So go ahead, finish, and then he will come in.
So when you look at the transition, especially when Cameroon recuperates the ball, when the other team, you force the other team into error, when they lose the ball, the transition has to be fast. And if you've seen Choupo-Moting, go watch the game against Ethiopia. He had the right technique, the right passes, and Gamale also had the right set of mind to actually put the ball in the path where only Abubakar could score or the defender could have scored an own goal. So those are the type of actions I'm talking about. When you recuperate the ball up high, you should make that count with good counter-attacking and precise passing.
Yep. You don't delay, move the ball quickly.
And that has to do too with the setup. But this we are going now into the 8 finals, wherein it's not how good you play, but if you're going to win. You play to win, not you don't play at this point to impress. And that's where a lot of Cameroonians have actually been frustrated, because we're used to seeing beautiful football. We're used to seeing a Cameroonian team with very creative players, but we don't have that today. I think I agree with you. We need Choupo-Moting in this game. Reason being that he is the only player in that team whom I think can pass 1-2 players and then create space for the other strikers, and someone who can also give that last pass, that clinical pass, which can kill the opponent. So I agree with you. But I just want to say that if we invest, if we put too much resources that side, they will be exposed. Truly, you and I know you've talked about in the past. There's a tendency for Faye to go forward, and then you see huge space behind him. So we have to be careful by playing too much on that side and then become vulnerable at the back.
Yeah, I think you make a very fair point there about being cautious at the back. And so far in this competition, we've been very lucky so far that even though Faye has been going up giving these crosses, he maybe based because he's very experienced, he actually times his run. And the side of the Cameroon field that has been very vulnerable so far, at least to me, is the left side, where the young left back sometimes runs the left wing, and then there is a huge space on the back. But so this is what, before we go to the next game, this is what I think. Yes. So I think Cameroon is going to play with the lineup of they played in the first game. So they're going to play with 3 midfielders, and Choupo-Moting may not start, because from what I've observed from this coach, each time he sees a team which is difficult to beat or difficult to play, he plays with this guy because he's also a little bit concerned about losing. That's what he did in the first game. That's what he did against Cape Verde, and that's what he did. And then the 2 games that he thought are in principle easy, so that's Ethiopia and Comoros, he played with Choupo-Moting. So that's what I think. So what do you guys think?
It will be a mistake to play 3 defensive midfielders in this game, because it means that you actually like creativity. And if you play the way you played against Burkina Faso, where you were not able to create opportunities, where you won by 2 penalties, that showed that the team was lacking. So if it comes with that lineup, then then I'm sorry for Cameroon. It's gonna be difficult for Cameroon.
I think I agree with you on that. Or Bechem, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Lion. And we are playing home soil, so we definitely have to come out swinging. We don't have to come and try to be conservative, want to play too much defense for so long, because trust me, I have watched the Gambia play. They can kill you if you give them the opportunity. So we just have to actually approach the game the way we've been approaching all our games. Try to block at the back, but don't put too much resources going forward, and just wait for them to, and we take advantage based on our experience.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's been a very, very good conversation. Let's talk a little bit about the next game. We are almost running to the let's talk around 5 minutes about the other game. So that's the game. The second game of tomorrow will be between Burkina Faso and Tunisia. So that game will be taking place in Garoua. I mentioned earlier that the Cameroon game will be taking place in Japoma Stadium. So Cameroon won Ivory Coast in Douala to get to the last step of the World Cup qualifier. So they are going back to Douala. So I think the Douala population, where True Lion grew, will be waiting for Cameroon. So let's talk about the Burkina Faso versus Tunisia game. So Maitre Bechem, you start. So what do you think about this game? Who do you think will win? I think, sorry, but before we talk about the game, you had mentioned that you think Cameroon will win by 2-0. True Lion, what do you think will be the result?
Cameroon, are you talking about Cameroon, Gambia?
Yes, Cameroon, Gambia, yeah.
I'm not so sure about this one, but I'm not really so sure about this one, but I think I'll go for 2-0. I'll go for 2-0.
Okay, I know. I mean, like, even if you don't give me a score, I know you had mentioned to me in the past that Cameroon can be very bad, but they are a competition team, so they will still win the game. So that's what I also think. I'm not going to give a score, a result, because I'm always wrong. So I don't want to give you guys a wrong result. I know myself. So let's talk about the the Burkina Faso and Tunisia game. Metre Bechem, let's start with you. So what do you think Burkina Faso is going to be? Burkina Faso was in the same group with Cameroon. They gave Cameroon a very difficult game. They started the game, they scored. Eventually, during that game with Cameroon, one of the things that came to my attention, or maybe everyone noticed, is that they weren't very organized at the back because one of their main defender didn't play the game. So that's, I'm talking about Tapsoba, because he tested positive for COVID. But eventually, they have not scored many goals. They have not conceded many goals. I should say that, but they have not scored many goals as well. You have mentioned to me that you think Burkina Faso is going to give Tunisia a run for their money, and you have one player. We'll talk about that, but let's just talk about the game. What do you think?
Yes. So I think this is a very it's not a very tricky game on my end. I see Burkina Faso as the next team after Cameroon so far. Considering the fact that the Green Eagles are out, Cameroon is now the front runner. So I take Burkina Faso as the next front runner after Cameroon, because they have, like, they don't have when they played Cameroon. It was more a once. It was first 45 minutes of, I mean, a very one-sided game in the first half. They created chances but did not take advantage of it. I saw some naivety in the attack line, which I believe have actually worked on that as the competition progresses. I I have taken. I mean, when I look at someone like Bertrand Traoré, he has the pace. His ball is excellent. Also, ability to dribble past 1-2 players, and the ability to give that killer pass, which I think can create space for other attackers, and then that's where they're going to kill Tunisia. In Tunisia, I see a team that it's not very good, but they are very courageous now. You know, it's like you a little boy in the neighborhood would just challenge like John Bree, who is like, if you heard of the story of John Bree, you know, you challenge the most powerful guy in the neighborhood, and now you feel like, hey, you can challenge anyone. They eliminated Nigeria. That is where their strength is. That is their strength. I know they have Kasri, who is like also a very good player, but for him to break down that Burkina Faso midfield and their defense, I don't think that's gonna be possible. So I think Burkina Faso is gonna come out as winning this one. I think 2-1, and I say 2-1 because I know that Tunisia also has a team that can kill you on counter attacks. So 2-1 for this game for me.
Okay, so True Lion. Okay, Metre Bechem has given his thoughts and how he thinks Burkina Faso will play. They have some creativity there, but I know you, after Tunisia played Nigeria, you came back with some conclusion that Tunisia may be a very, very difficult team to beat. They probably learned their lesson from the first round and they came out very, very organized. I mean, that is a team that in their game against Nigeria, their captain didn't start the game.
Yeah, I mean, Tunisia is more of a team. When I say a team, all what they need to do is look for that consistency, because not many teams have been consistent in this Nations Cup. They can defend very, very well. They prove that they are a tactically sound team. The coach basically gave during his press conference, he says they will respect Burkina Faso. For me, I favor Tunisia in this game. All they need to do is maybe up their game in the final third and maybe get some better passes, because there's no denying that Nigeria was one of the favorites in this tournament, and Tunisia managed to beat them. And I don't see Burkina Faso going through in this one, because if you remember last game, the coach played Bertrand Traoré as the lone striker, and that created a vacuum in their midfield. You know, they actually played awful, and I did not even know how they managed to win that game, but they were that bad. So I don't. For me, hype for Burkina Faso is over. Tunisia is going to beat them.
So I think saying they were that bad, I'm not very sure that is accurate, because Bertrand Traore, he scored a goal. He scored a goal, and then he even missed a penalty in that game. So
yes, I mean, going back to that penalty, that was just a gift from the goal from the ref. That was not a penalty. Going back to that penalty, it's not as if they created many opportunities to where they deserve a penalty. So I'm looking for that from that standpoint, and the team, the opponent that they actually played as well. Now they are playing a better opponent. They are playing a team that is tactically sound. You know.
Okay, I'm going to ask you about the team that you said is tactically sound. So this is what I think. Okay, Tunisia played a very good game against Nigeria. I don't think they were tactically sound. I think the Nigeria coach was tactically naive. I mean, tactically, that's something you have admitted here, because if you look at their games, they lost to the Gambia. Tunisia qualified to the knockout stages with 3 points. They only won one game against Mauritania. Everyone can win Mauritania without any disrespect to Mauritania.
But you remember 2017, how many games did Cameroon win in the first round? In 2017.
But that's Cameroon. Cameroon is at that time, Cameroon was 4-time champion.
Okay, man, but I'm talking about football, right? It doesn't matter how you start. It doesn't matter how you start. It's what you show to me. I mean, who are you? Who are you? Tunisia has shown me that they are tactically sound. If they can,
and they can adapt in the game. So I think I totally agree with you guys. So you think Tunisia is going to win, and Maitre Bechem thinks it will be Burkina Faso. I think this is a very, very good one. I like the fact that you guys disagree on this one, and hopefully tomorrow afternoon, after the games, when we are doing the post-match analysis and the preview for the games on Sunday, we'll chat a little bit more about so the games on Sunday will be Egypt, Morocco in Yaoundé, and then Senegal, Equatorial Guinea. We'll talk about those ones tomorrow. So for ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching, you watch the big debate. I had True Lion here, a legendary True Lion, and our new guest who has impressed me significantly. So this is Maitre Bechem Ebini. So it was nice having you guys this evening and having to chat with you guys. So Maitre Bechem, I look forward to having you back tomorrow, and thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you so much, Dr. T, and True Lion. Thank you so much for your insight.
Yeah, Lion Man, thank you for coming as usual, and we'll chat again tomorrow. And it's always a pleasure having you, and thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure, Maitre Bechem. Thank you, Dr. T, and see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow, and good evening, everyone. And let's come back tomorrow and chat about the Cameroon game. Good night.